Dougal, look at the camera. Look at the camera. Oh dear. Come on then. You want to come in? Oh dear. Dougal, sit. Oh, Dougal. Never work with children and animals. The recent pandemic has been difficult for people all over the world, but especially for people involved in the travel and tourism sector and for the businesses that rely on them. The islands of Scotland rely heavily on tourism and have been particularly hard hit. Visitors are missing the islands and the islanders are missing the visitors. However, there are ways that you can enjoy the islands from the comfort of your own home. From my home in North Uist, I drove to Barra to speak with Eilidh, owner of the CORALBOX gift shop, to hear how the pandemic has affected her business and how she is helping folk who are missing the islands.
Well, my business CORALBOX here on Barra has been closed since coronavirus came to the UK and Scotland. I was actually due to reopen the week that lockdown happened. I was meant to just turn my sign around to open after working for the last month or two getting it all ready. Because people can't visit here, my takings are a lot down compared to last year. I should have reopened in March, so I've lost maybe 3 months taking so far, which is quite a lot in such a short season, only till September time. But I have moved to online, both to my own website and to the Isle20 website. One thing that I have been working on to bring the islands to people that can't visit is a webcam project of the bay here on Barra. So if you can't make it to the islands, you can see the view from the sea and the seals in your own home. I'll get Andrew to put the link to the webcams in the description below.
Jonny and Kate set up the North Uist distillery just 1 year ago, and their North Uist gin, Downpour, became an instant hit. In what way has the crisis affected their business?
We're Kate and Jonny from North Uist Distillery, and we've been trading for about a year. And yeah, as with all businesses recently, you know, the current events, the pandemic has impacted our business in certain ways. We're very fortunate that we've still got an e-commerce website that we're able to reach customers through. So that's kind of been our lifeblood and allowed us to continue trading. So we've been very lucky. But there has been elements of the business that have stopped, you know, and that's dealing with on-trade customers like pubs and hotels, and visitors to the island as well. Tourists who visit Uist and quite often take a bottle of gin home with them. So yeah, there's been you know, downsides with the current events, but we've also been fortunate that we're able to keep on trading.
At the beginning of the lockdown, it became clear that island businesses were going to find it tough going. Over on the island of TIREE in the Inner Hebrides, businesswoman, web developer, crofter and all-round good egg, Rhoda, she decided that she needed to do something. So she created a website called Isle20. The other night I had a chat with Rhoda to ask her what Isle20 was all about. Rhoda, why did you set up Isle20? What is Isle20 about?
I set up Isle20 because I had a small business, TIREE Tea, that I was just going to get off the ground, a little tea label this summer, test it out, see if I could create a market. And all of a sudden I was surrounded by tea with no tourists, and I thought to myself, right, I'll need to up my online selling game. And I'm a product manager. I kind of herd software products into existence. It's one of the things that I do, and it occurred to me that it would be a good idea if there was a way for people to find island businesses, and maybe support the islands. And I figured, well, I've got the skills to maybe pull that together where someone else might not, so let's see. And so I set up this directory and asked people if they wanted to add their businesses. And it obviously struck a chord and people started adding their businesses. And then we were getting good traffic. And then I realised that if you maybe didn't have an online checkout, then you weren't kind of maximising that traffic. and maybe getting as many sales as people who had an online checkout. But that is not easy to set up sometimes. It takes time. It also takes a financial investment to do it. It's not free as a rule. So I added a marketplace where it kind of lets people sell on Isle20 as well directly, kind of a bit like Etsy would. Yeah, and so over 3 months the thing just kind of grew.
So basically it's a directory of island services as well as a shop front for those who don't have their own shop fronts. Excellent. Is it just the Hebrides, or are you further afield than that?
It's Scottish Islands, that's what we say. So the nice thing about that is that it's not just the inner or the outer Hebrides. It also includes the Northern Isles as well, so Orkney and Shetland and the islands that make up those sort of bigger groups, which has been lovely actually, because I think we share a lot in common and we don't often work together. We don't, it's easy to think in a sort of like Western Isles bubble, and so that's been really fun actually, to have that kind of that interaction and learning from each other.
Yeah, so basically everywhere, dare say, from ARRAN to Uist, basically.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I like that.
You can have that. You can have that one on me, Rhoda. You can have that one on me. And so, how many businesses do you know off the top of your head? How many businesses are on there at the moment?
I think we're at about 430 businesses listed. So those are free listings that sends traffic to their website when someone searches for like their keyword or their name or their service. And then we have almost 80 businesses selling on Isle20 kind of directly. And that gives us a total of about, I think, 850 products at my last count.
So in this video, we're going to talk to Kate and Jonny at the Uist Distillery. And for example, this is how you can use Isle20, because I've actually ordered gin for a friend of mine down in Sussex for her birthday, and it's come from Uist. And I mean, that's one of the great things about how to use this resource, isn't it? It's not, you don't have to be here in the islands, or you don't really even need to be connected with the islands. It's a way of supporting independent businesses. And it doesn't have to be for you, it can be for a friend, and it can be for anyone like that, can't it? I mean, you must get orders from all around the world.
Yeah. We've had, I think we just processed one from Sri Lanka. Someone who lives in Sri Lanka who wanted to send a gift to someone in Scotland and wanted to send it from an island.
One way in which you can help businesses is to send a present or a gift to other people. You don't always have to buy something for yourself. You can send a gift to people that haven't quite made it to the islands yet this year. Or if you're thinking of somebody, you can send them a gift through any of the businesses.
So a lot of the businesses on Isle20, like ourselves, are quite small, independent businesses. So they're putting a lot of love and care into their products, and what we find is a lot of our customers are really keen to support these small businesses and shop locally. So what Isle20's doing really is making that very accessible and visible, and putting them all these small businesses into one place, so it makes it easier for somebody who's wanting to buy a gift to kind of send something from a small business.
There are so many, and I've been blown away, to be honest, and learned so much about the talent and the types of businesses that are out there in the islands. And there's a real danger when you've got a lot of big name companies we all buy from online that we kind of lose sight of, or it's maybe, we're naturally lazy creatures. You have to go looking.
Yes.
If you don't know that a business exists, you have to then, find it or go looking or research or hear from friends. And actually the nice thing, I think, about something like this, I'm biased, but I think the nice thing is that you can actually go island shopping, and I specifically kind of set it up so that you could explore by island and see the different businesses and ideas and kind of get inspired.
And I myself have also found lots of new businesses in the Outer Hebrides and Inner Hebrides that I myself didn't really know about. So I've learnt lots of new people and companies. And maybe for reopening, I'll look into stocking some of these as new people in my shop.
People have often got good memories of the islands and holidays, and so it's at this sort of time, especially with the last few months, I think people have really enjoyed sending little gifts to people as well in lockdown and cheering themselves up. So, things like sweet treats, chocolate, food has been selling quite well, cards, things like that. Just little things that you'd put in the post to someone to say, I'm thinking of.
An example of sending a gift through a business is, I know Andrew got a housewarming gift sent through CORALBOX from a follower.
From Teddy Wanderer. So thank you, Teddy Wanderer.
And you can do this through my website or through any of the other businesses.
Neither you nor I want to speculate when it will be safe for visitors to come. I mean, I know we're all missing visitors very much, but going forward into the future, how do you see Isle20 in the post-2020 world that we're hopefully going to be entering very soon?
Oh, it would be nice if we did that, yeah. I mean, I think, yes, keep an eye out for official guidance about when you can come back and, as we gradually ease out, and I think it is important the islands ease out of lockdown, then as and when it's safe, we'll be delighted to welcome people back. Post-COVID, and I really hope there's a post-COVID.
Yes, the new normal. The new normal.
But yeah, I think one of the ongoing things that we're aware of living in the islands is how short our season is, and often businesses who serve tourists are really quite reliant on that very short season on being found. And one of the strengths, I hope, of Isle20 going forward, if we can develop it and have some time to sort of like build this experiment out of it and give it some flesh, is opening up the opportunity for people to discover the islands all year round and discover the products and the talents that are there. I think it's really easy to go to some of the big name brands who will remain nameless, who ship online all over the country. But I certainly have been really conscious over the last few months, having started this, about going and shopping with small independent businesses. And sort of the way I describe it is, help people who pay their taxes to also pay their bills, and every penny that gets spent goes back into an island community. If you buy my tea, I go and spend that in the local shop or in the local restaurant, and so we're able to strengthen our own resilience and our own economics. I'd love it if we could have people doing their Christmas shopping from Isle20. That would be great.
And also I guess too, for those people who love to come back, it means that those businesses are still going to be there to support them when it is time to come back.
Isle20 has contributed well to my business during lockdown, and I have received orders for calendars and tea towels through it.
So Isle20 has made a really positive boost to our business because it's made it easy for people to discover us, and it's also been nice to be a part of that community where you see a lot of small business owners coming together, and just Rhoda has been in touch with all of us, and it's just been a great thing to be part of.
Rhoda, well, that is excellent. Thank you so much for telling us about Isle20, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all 830 island businesses or whatever, that thank you so much for the time and your resources, your skill, your effort, your own money you've put into this to support the islands. Thanks for your time. And we will catch up with you again soon. So hopefully see you on TIREE for TIREE Music Festival 2021. For TMF 21. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Rhoda. Cheers, then. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
At the time of filming, we don't know when the islands will be opening back up to visitors or how that might look. Please keep an eye on the relevant websites, which I will leave in the description below, to check the latest and the most up-to-date advice and directives. I feel very fortunate indeed to have moved to North Uist before this pandemic struck, and I know many people watching this video will be missing the islands terribly. But the islands are not going anywhere. They will still be here, just as beautiful as ever, when the time is right to return. In the meantime, please take a look at the Isle20 website, link in the description below, and support the islands as best you can. Because of course, if you can't come to the islands, the next best thing is to have the islands come to you. Thank you for your support. There. How was that, Dougal? He never smiles.